Hello once again, ladies and gentlemen. Can we talk about Transformers? Welcome, one and all, to the wondrous, spectacularless, spantabulous Transformers
More.
Season 1 Chiptacuber. A look back on the season that was all about, Kristen, a season that was all about might and metal.
I mean,
Actual 80s cartoon classic, The Transformers. I am holding on by the skin of my teeth. I am Joe.
I didn't think of one of these. I'm Kristen.
And we are watching Transformers Generation 1, or have watched, via Tubi, a free streaming platform with intermittent commercials. And Kristen, with all the fun stuff that's been going on and all the time that we haven't been recording, have you watched anything on the various streaming platforms that are available for your compagnon?
I got Madeline to start watching The Good Place with me. She resisted for a very long time. And now new episodes are coming out again, so I need to catch up with those. It's just never ending.
That's pretty good. I had a very... You ever have a weird thing, Kristen, where you watch two, like, I don't want to say diametrically opposed movies, but two very different movies, and the same like, bit actor is in them?
Not recently, but I do know the phenomena you are talking about.
That happened to me yesterday with Kristen. Do you remember I love the 70s/80s/90s mainstay Luis Guzman?
Nope.
All right, well...
I was really crossing my fingers you were going to say Michael Ian Black.
Kristen, I would expect you to know who Michael Ian Black is, along with Mo Rocca, of course.
Yes. No, unfortunately, that is not one of the people I remember.
Well, he was in two movies that I watched yesterday. The first was the Jim Carrey vehicle Yes Man, which I did not want to see when it came out, because I was like, that seems a lot like Liar Liar. And spoiler alert, it's kind of a bit like Liar Liar.
Weird. Would never have guessed.
I also want to tell you, Kristen, Luis Guzman takes part in what might be the best/worst scene in the movie, where he is a man who is going to jump off a building, and Jim Carrey, who, as saying yes to everything, one of the things he did was learn to play guitar, and conveniently we see him playing earlier in the movie. He plays to Luis Guzman, Jumper by Third Eye Blind.
That's not funny. Or at the very least, it's slightly insensitive. I have Googled Luis Guzman, and I do remember him now.
Okay, good. Kristen, but he wishes that he would step back from that ledge, my friend.
Oh,
so you
okay.
could cut ties with all the lies that you've been living in and all that jazz.
There you go. Something similar happened to me recently, but it was with a movie and a TV show, and it was just an actor that I hadn't seen in a while, and that man was Danny Trejo.
Oh, was Spy Kids one of the movies?
He was in Spy Kids, which I'd been reminded of. Again, I actually talked to you about that because I think we've seen the first Spy Kids movie, but I don't remember any of that shit. And then he also played Rosa's dad on Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
The other movie that I saw Luis Guzman in was the Paul Thomas Anderson epic Magnolia, which is a movie that is 3 hours long and follows like 9 different stories. And
Isn't that about cancer?
There's a lot of cancer going on in it. Tom Cruise plays a guy who's selling like a pickup artist tape, and it's hilarious. And Luis Guzman plays a contestant on a game show that's like an Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader type game show, and he says fuck you to a bunch of kids.
I did just realize that I confused Magnolia with Steel Magnolias.
Yes, I love the 80s classic Steel Magnolias.
There we go.
Either way, I think we've prattled on long enough here. Kristen, do you remember the gem Kim Tacuber's, Jim Tacuber's, Sting Tacubers?
Only barely.
Okay, good. So you know the format that we're going to be following here, which, for those of you just joining us, we will explain to you along the way here. So let's get chippin'!
Yay!
The Transformers, more than meets the eye. Autobots wage their battle to destroy the evil forces of the Decepticons. The Transformers, robots in disguise. The Transformers, more than meets the eye. The Transformers.
Kristen, welcome back to the Chiptacuber.
Great to be back, Joe.
Round 1 is a little game we like to call One Good, One Bad.
I'd like to pick Charles Nelson Riley.
I'm envisioning the Price is Right.
No, I was over here doing Match Game once again. We're just not on the same page.
All right, well, Dumb Dora was so dumb.
Oh my god, Charles Nelson Riley, help me.
One Good, One Bad is a game that we play where we go over the episodes that we watch.
How dumb was she? It's been a while.
where we go over a good and a bad aspect of the episode that we went over, so we can kind of just do a little refresher as to what we thought of the episodes, I guess, or what was good and or bad in the episodes. And Kristen,
it's a good way to go back and get like a retrospective view, because, you know, usually I purge all of these things out of my head the second I'm done with them.
You forget every episode of Gem.
No, that's different.
More Than Meets the Eye here, Kristen. My good for More Than Meets the Eye, which I have a feeling might be in line with yours, is Laser Axe and Laser Mace.
I just wrote Laser Axe and Mace. So yes, that is the best part of that.
And the bad that I wrote for that is something that thankfully has not come up since that episode, sticking robots in other robot asses.
Have we just gotten used to it? Was it really ever gone? My bad was too many characters at once. Please slow down.
Yes, the main event of this, of course, will be Kristen naming all of the Transformers, and I think that this was probably a bit of a shell-shock moment, Kristen, when you realized, look at all these dumb motherfuckers I'm going to have to learn a name of.
Now here's the thing, Joe. I might still be absolute horseshit at looking at them and naming them, but I remembered quite a few names.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, there's going to be extra points if you can put a face to the name. So
I'm going to do my best. Thankfully, this is a podcast, and too much of visual media would be boring and impossible for the audience, so naming is what I got.
Transport to Oblivion. Kristen, the good I have for Transport to Oblivion is Shockwave managed to hold down Cybertron for 4 million years and keep everything roughly the same for good or for bad, but he did his job.
Like, I love my man Starscream, but Employee of the Year right here. I kind of expected this to be your good also. Can you guess what mine is?
It's not Bumbleteeth, is it?
No, I wrote Tumblebee.
Which segues directly into my bad for Transport to Oblivion, Bumbleteeth.
Mine was the Space Bridge. Still makes absolutely no sense, and I really, really hate it, Joe.
I don't know how much more the Space Bridge shows up. I know that it's a pretty common part of Transformers media now, but yeah, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Like, the Ultimate Doom Space Bridge is still very confusing to me.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about it. We've been over it.
Roll for it. Kristen, I would hope we have the same good here, which is, of course, introduction of super genius Bishonen episode namesake Chip Chase.
My favorite boy in the world, Chip Chase. My favorite human boy in the world, Chip Chase. I did also top that off with a little cherry called Rumble, because Rumble was a star in that episode.
Rumble was a fucking goof in that episode.
And, like, kind of also shout out to Ravage.
The bad I have for roll for it is Mirage turning invisible and still leaving footprints in the sand.
I mean, he became invisible, Joe, not intangible.
Very true, and when there was only one set of robot footprints in the sand, he carried Hound.
Aw, that's beautiful. My bad for this was my own personal fanfiction, the non-setup with the doctor that dies in the explosion or whatever that I thought was Dr. Arkeville. I got so mad about that.
Man, that would have been so much better. I'm a little sad.
They couldn't give Chip an evil boss because Chip is too smart for that shit.
There were so many doctors in this series that could have been Dr. Arkeville. Dr. Labcoat, this guy.
It's like they didn't care.
Divide and conquer. Kristen, my good for this is Chip Chase gets to go to Cybertron before Spike.
He gets a pretty cool space adventure that he totally deserves after his amazing debut. My good was that Optimus gets the shit kicked out of him.
He really does.
In a really funny way. I guys started giggling just thinking about it.
It's one thing that we learned throughout the course of the season, Kristen. Optimus can take a fucking beating because there are at least 3 episodes where he gets his shit pushed in.
It was like slapstick, which is impressive because it's a cartoon.
The bad is the weird humanized reflector that I turned into Jerry Lewis that Starscream uses to send on the space bridge.
I'm impressed, Joe. My bad is a quote from the episode, and his name is, "No one's ever really disabled as long as he has courage."
I mean, that's not bad.
We don't have enough time to talk about what's wrong with that.
That just rolls right over, but not rolls. No, I'm sorry.
Joe, what is your problem?
That just goes beyond bad, back to inspirational again.
If you say so, dude.
Fire in the Sky. Even though, Kristen, we ragged on it in the episode itself, I think that further instances of your not guy Skyfire have made warrior poet Skyfire the good of Fire in the Sky.
I kind of miss him, though I am, of course, as always, more specific than that. Joe, the best thing about Fire in the Sky was the Starscream lore.
That's true, yeah. Starscream lore is few and far between.
The episode started to pretend it had, the whole series had a story. Well, that's crazy, because it doesn't.
I like how just from one, essentially, like, I shouldn't say throwaway line, it's basically the crux of the episode, the fact that Skyfire is neither Autobot nor Decepticon is something that I don't think is ever explored again. Like a guy, like, some guy who used to be an Autobot, some guy who used to be a Decepticon. No, not in this series.
Oh no, maybe we don't get more of Skyfire going forward. Ugh.
The bad is, of course, Kristen, how the fuck did they drive to the North Pole? How did they do that?
That was a big consideration for me. I can't stop thinking about it. Because my brain is like, yeah, they explained it, right? There has to be an explanation.
Just drive up and, hey, look, there's the fucking Aurora Borealis. And Optimus is like, yeah, cool, dude, I guess.
All those cars that don't have four-wheel drive.
Oh, God.
Drove up to the North Pole. My bad, however, was the fake-out Skyfire death ending.
That's true.
That was just stupid.
Undone in 2 whole episodes.
Mm-hmm. It would have been maybe flipped around, turned into funny if Fire on the Mountain was the next episode. But the base, and I guess also the spoiler that it was all a lie also, I didn't love.
Krista, we don't really talk about it, but they do essentially the same thing to the Dinobots in SOS Dinobots. They just lock them in a fucking room at the end of the episode.
Well, I mean, they can get them out, right?
They don't have to
They
drive...
just look at the piece of ice that Skyfire was sending, and they're like, he's dead forever. That is a shame.
SOS Dinobots, speaking of, the good here is the guy Wheeljack playing God and making the Dinobots stupid on purpose.
It is the peak of comedy. Mine is a little bit more on the active, heroic side of things, and it's Wheeljack, Bumblebee, and Spike going rogue to completely save everyone's ass.
Don't forget, Kristen, Wheeljack made the Dinobots stupid twice. He had an opportunity to actually, okay, well, we're going to fix them this time. We're going to make them smarter, but not smart.
I mean, sometimes you love your kids exactly the way they are, and you wouldn't change them even if you could.
And the other side of that coin, of course, the bad being that for some goddamn reason, in addition to making them stupid, the Dinobots are fucking indestructible.
It's a great combination, in my opinion. My bad was me favorite Grimlock not get enough lines.
No,
and then I did a frowny face.
We really expected the Dinobots to come out as fully formed characters.
That was our mistake.
Fire on the Mountain. The good I have for this one here, Kristen, is ponderously traitorous Thundercracker.
See, what I said was Thundercracker, quote-unquote, lore?
It's the closest we get to lore for Thundercracker because I think, as you've seen, I've sent you the videos and things for the Transformers the Basics videos on...
Are we going to talk about screenwriter Thundercracker? Because, whoa, my heart.
Thundercracker and Skywarp, who have very little going on other than the fact that they are the same body mold as Starscream.
Mm-hmm. And one of them is slightly more argumentative than the other.
And yes, in the IDW comics, Thundercracker becomes a screenwriter. And has a dog, I think.
He has a dog, yeah! He writes a movie about Starscream's life. So there's just so many sentences there that I really, really loved having transported into my brain.
Do you think a key to your success would be writing a screenplay about your asshole friend's life?
I mean, I had a really bad roommate once. And once in a while I think to myself, I could probably... if I really wanted to, write like a whole tight 30-minute stand-up special about just what that was like.
But that would be like if she also became a senator in a few years or something.
Oh, no, I hope not. Ooh, and you know what? She might. She's that kind of person.
And as we stay on the bad train here of Fire on the Mountain, I've got technically 2 things here. One is 2 simple words, dick laser. And the second is bad travel plans.
Mine is kind of related. So what I have written down is the depiction of this episode's passage of time is criminal.
Yeah, I'd say that falls in line with bad travel plans.
Mm-hmm. It just is, again, it's a cartoon. I get that. I'm willing to make some allowances here and there when I'm still trying to suspend my disbelief and it makes me this angry. That's impressive.
Was the only thing close to this in Gem, Kristen the Jazz Player, where all of the holograms go to different parts of the United States to get a fucking band back together in 24 hours or whatever it was?
That sounds possible. I'm trying to remember whether or not the Princess and the Singer also had some stupid time stuff going on with Kimber being kidnapped for a while. But yeah, it was mostly... Like, this is a recurring issue with Transformers.
Yeah, I know that we kind of talked about it, where in order to go see Taps Tucker, like, because there were scenes that were, like, either back at Starlight Music or somewhere else, we had to believe that they were just in that city the entire time and not going from LA to that city and back a bunch of times.
Or brought Taps Tucker to LA in a separate location that they then had to visit as if it were a different place than LA.
Right. Exactly.
You know, stuff that makes complete sense.
War of the Dinobots. Kristen, my good for this is we get to see Megatron being a competent villain, which we see a few times here, being able to successfully manipulate the Dinobots because, goddamn, it's easy to manipulate them.
He's fun when he's doing his thing.
When he does his whole, like, no, Grimlock, no, I'm not fighting you. Why are you fighting me, buddy?
I'm not strong enough to fight you. So mine is similar. I have my good as flawless Dinobot logic on full display. With the bonus, when I wrote War of the Dinobots, I accidentally typed Dino Boys first.
Ooh, that's a much more fun episode. Uh-huh. That's actually, Kristen, to peek behind the curtain a little bit, when I wrote the preview for, like, hey, next episode is the first episode of Season 2, Autobot Spike. I wrote Auto Boy Spike, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, he is. I have a feeling we have the same bad for this one.
My bad is Optimus no-selling Grimlock's Ask for Forgiveness.
Yeah, me too. Weird. I was on the Transformers wiki earlier today just making sure I got all the episodes covered in my list. And the episode synopsis for War of the Dinobots just like straight up ends with Grimlock apologizes to Optimus, who really doesn't say anything and suggests they go home. It's like, ouch.
What a dick. Jesus.
It's terrible. Grimlock deserves better. I love my Dino Boy.
Now, Kristen, you told me that you didn't split up the Ultimate Doom, so if you don't mind doing your good and bad for the entirety of the Ultimate Doom, please.
It almost fits all of it, so for my good I have action, drama, family drama, moral quandaries, impossible physics. This chunk of episodes is really out of place, and I liked it. And my bad is the Dino Boys didn't do shit.
And I think you cover basically a lot of the ground that I do in mine here. So Ultimate Doom Part 1, if you remember, Kristen, that's where Cybertron gets sucked into the atmosphere or whatever.
Yep. It happened surprisingly early.
Yep, that is my good for the episode, too. Cybertron being pulled into Earth's atmosphere really actually does kind of raise the stakes, which kind of sets up Parts 2 and 3 for failure, because it's like, oh, look, our natural climax happened in the first act. Oh, fuck, wait, no.
Uh-oh.
And my bad for that is actually Sparkplug and Spike family drama.
It was, again, something different, so in that way I kind of liked it. Also, was that the episode where Sparkplug got the chip in his head?
Yes.
So then that was when he did the alley-oop of the Optimus real doll. Because that was pretty funny.
I believe so, yes.
Okay, I like that part of the episode a lot.
Ultimate Doom Part 2 for me. What happened in Part 2 was, stuff, I guess.
Yeah,
Like,
you don't even know.
Trying to recall it, I can't think of what the major plot point... They go to Cybertron, but that's not what they're doing for most of the episode.
Yeah, I think... No, I don't know. Never mind.
The good I have for that is the Decepticons not thinking about how a bunch of turbulent water might fuck up their underwater base.
But it's so good, though, isn't it?
That's exactly why it's there, Kristen. Like, Megatron is so short-sighted that he goes to this base as there's, like, fucking tsunamis and shit going on, and he's like,
This is probably fine.
should we be here?
Doesn't even cross his mind.
The bad for that one is your bad for the entire series. The Dinobots being hyped up in the episode preview, and then all they did is build a log wall.
Extremely disappointing.
The Ultimate Doom Part 3, my good for that, Kristen, is Surfing Cybertron.
I forgot about that. I guess similarly, because it happens in the same area, what I liked about this episode was all of Starscream's going rogue. That seemed like it was going to be a weird, sneaky double plan, where he got caught on purpose. And no, he's just an idiot, and then Countdown to Extinction happens.
Yeah, he's just dumb, which at least it sets up Countdown to Extinction, but he really could have been better about, like, being off to the side trying to get Energon out of Dr. Arkaville's stupid-ass brain.
And also, remind me, does Megatron get shot into space at the end of this one?
He's in the ship that explodes, which, again, my bad for this is Cybertron being slid across the frame to move out of Earth's atmosphere.
I mean, what did you expect, Joe? Fanfare? Production value?
a space bridge again, potentially? But no, the fucking pillar gets exploded at the beginning of part 2. So...
I love how also the only reason I remember how this episode ends is just because Megatron walks on in. He got knocked down, but he got up again, can never keep him down. Just straight through the door in the next episode like nothing happened.
Again, the Seinfeld bass plays, and then everybody is,
Yes.
Hey!
Ah, there he is.
Countdown to extinction. Kristen, I wrote as my good here, Dr. Arkeville and Starscream make a decent gruesome twosome.
First of all, ew. Second, similar, but without the Dr. Arkeville part. Extremely good Starscream content. Also,
Very good Starscream
in this episode, everyone works together, except Starscream.
I feel like there should be more episodes like that where you see that there's a reason that Optimus and Megatron are leading their respective teams. Like an Autobot tries to go do a mission alone and he gets fucking destroyed.
Yeah.
Or a Decepticon tries to do something like with Starscream here, and everybody has to work together because Megatron doesn't want his fucking planet blown up before he gets all the energy from it.
I still have shit to fuck up here.
The bad of this episode, Kristen, oddly sexual vibes from Megatron telling Optimus to put that thing in him in reference to the exponential generator into his gun barrel.
I think that was just me.
Which could just be a euphemism in itself.
Who knows? For this one, would you believe it, Dr. Arkeville sucks and is boring, and I'm glad he dies.
We don't see him ever again, I'm pretty sure, so...
I like how I probably have a decent amount of, like, groundwork laid just in this episode of him kind of being a crappy character, and in The Ultimate Doom. As, like, not a cool dude, why would I like him? But really, Joe, the reason I don't like him is because he wasn't set up and roll for it.
I mean, that seems like that's the part that stings the most for you, and I understand completely.
I was so sure, Joe. I'm never going to be confident about anything again.
I think what we should do also is think about maybe doing like some kind of power ranking after season 2, maybe of human characters that show up in more than one episode for both Gem and like tertiary human characters that show up for both Transformers and Gem.
So the Craig Phillips of the world.
Exactly, yes, because I was going to say, is Dr. Arkeville better than any multi-episode, like, secondary Gem human?
Absolutely not. Because at least most of the Gem characters that show up more than once are also just, like, boring chill people.
Generally cool people, yeah, pretty much.
Whereas Dr. Arkeville just straight up sucks.
Where he's an
For
ass,
reasons other than my own personal vendetta.
For some reason, the first thing that came to my head is, like, is Dr. Arkeville better than Richard Xanthos? And then immediately I'm like, no!
No, absolutely not. Especially not the way that we view Richard Xanthos.
Richard Xanthos is the fucking most dangerous game hunter, man. That's great.
Yeah, it's amazing.
A plague of Insecticons.
I forgot I wrote this.
My good is Kristen. I like Shrapnel and his weird speech quirk.
I'm not surprised by that. My good was skating on top of your friends to beat the new bullies in town.
Oh. You know what's weird, Kristen? My bad, riding on top of another Transformer to ground yourself because rubber tires equals no electricity.
And hey, Jill, you know what's crazy? My bad, the Insecticons.
Wow, what an odd couple. Ba-da-ba-da-ba.
We did a little flipperoonie there.
Both opening the doors that crash into each other. Whoa! Whoa! One of us is clean and the other's dirty. Whoa!
Oh, so funny. One of us likes the Insecticons. One of us is smart.
Hey, I don't like all the Insecticons. I'm fine with the other two, but I like Shrapnel.
Yeah, I was saying, I'm sorry, let's check, let's do a tally, Joe. Do you like one of them?
Oh, just one.
Wow, that's too many. Weird.
Heavy Metal War. My good for this one, Kristen, is Giant Hologram Autobot.
That is another source of shame for me, because I thought he was Skyfire.
And even better is the fact that I knew you would think he was Skyfire.
So that's a nice memory for you, huh?
Yes, it is.
My good was a duel that should have been proposed episodes ago. I love it. Cheating is fun.
My bad being Optimus is a big, stupid idiot for thinking Megatron won fair and square.
Joe, that's crazy. My bad is Optimus is an idiot and Teletran is useless. What a great way to end that.
Now, the thing is, Kristen, Teletran is only useless if they don't ask questions, which, if you remember, Super Genius Bashonen Chip Chase is all about that life.
I mean, is Google stupid if you don't Google something? Google can't just tell you if Megatron is cheating.
So it's basically all the Autobots are stupid.
Yes, they are.
Teletran didn't do anything wrong, is what I'm saying.
Teletran is useless in their hands.
Yes, there we go.
Like,
that's much better.
The Decepticons don't have a super cool computer, and they seem to always know what's going on.
They got Laserbeak for that.
Yeah, and Soundwave.
Yeah, exactly. They got a reconnaissance guy.
I cannot believe we went through all that without mentioning dams.
Oh yeah, a lot of dam plans. That's I hope that there's a lot more dam plans in season 2.
I was just thinking, I almost said, I hope there's a lot more dam plans, and then I thought, do I?
So that's the thing, Kristen. I'm just saying things to say them because I don't want another dam plan.
Let's put it this way. I'm interested to see whether or not there are more dam plans.
If they can put a new spin on an old classic again.
I mean, they tweak it sometimes. It sort of works.
And thank you, everyone, for joining us for One Good, One Bad. Hey, everybody, pick up your prize. The home game. Rice-A-Roni.
How dumb was she?
Turtle wax.
Yeah.
And Kristen, I think then, to break up the sections here, we have, we're going to take a little bit of a trip into the right next to the fireplace in the nice velour chair, or whatever.
I have my smoking jacket on. I have my pipe.
You're in Richard Xanthos' mansion.
Yes, a mounted human head is on the wall behind me, but he told me don't ask any questions, it's not real. So, I have been threatening for a very long time now, Joe, to do something.
Correct.
Do you remember what that specific thing is?
Because I know what's about to happen, yes.
It is reading Starscream X Reader fanfiction for everyone to enjoy.
Now, Kristen, Starscream X Reader, I would assume, as someone not terribly well-versed in the fanfiction community, would be Reader being me. So Starscream and me are going to get it on?
Well,
or have a date. It's not necessarily sexual.
Let's make one thing very clear. I'm not reading any fucking porn on this podcast. No, thank you. I'm already careful regularly when it comes to ASMR relationships. Like, just saying stupid stuff in a soft voice, I'm worried people are going to get weird about that. So, this is just some excerpts I took from Starscream X Reader. In all of these cases, it happens that the reader is a woman.
Okay.
I'm sure there's plenty of gay dudes out there who also love Starscream.
I would not be surprised.
But yeah, I am going to give people an idea of what goes on in my head, because I'm cut from the same cloth as these people. None of these people are secretly me under an alias.
I was going to say, are we going to give reader credits and writer credits and things like that?
Yes, I do have that, because I would also like to point out, just because I find these things humorous to read, I'll throw this out there, whatever. I've been writing Persona 3 fanfiction for like 12 years now. So, like, I'm not making fun of anyone. It's very cool that they did this.
Of course.
But the concept is very funny to me also.
And please, Kristen, if you don't mind taking us into fanfiction theater.
I'm gonna put my posh voice on. Joe, try to contain yourself. This first fanfiction, I picked specifically for the title, is an archive of our own, and it is called I Scream, You Scream.
Oh, no.
By Stainless Steel Sex Appeal.
Oh, no.
AKA Chin My Chongas. That's how it's written. Okay, here we go. Should I try doing a Starscream voice?
Do you want to try doing a Starscream voice for the Starscream dialogue?
I guess I'll do my best.
All right.
Another one? I do hope this one lasts. However, I can appreciate when someone acknowledges the delicate finesse that I possess when transforming, he spoke. No, more like seduced your auditory sensors with beautiful appropriation of talking. So I clipped out different sections of this one, just because they were fun.
Okay.
So this is after your character has been unceremoniously... It's so funny. This is after your character has been unceremoniously slammed dunked into Starscream's cockpit and flown off into space and is not thrilled about it.
As he is wont to do.
Yes. Should mention, just because I did give the information for this one does eventually turn into porn. I just didn't read that far. I took stuff from the beginning when they're just starting to know each other. You're screaming as you ascend higher into the heavens. It's ear-splitting, and you barely recognize your voice as panic and fear latch at your throat and squeeze for all it's worth. You've never screamed for this prolonged amount of time in your life, and your throat is sore from the exertion. But after about half a minute later, you realize that someone's trying to speak over you. Or rather, yell.
Would you stop that?
Came the voice of Starscream around you and in you as the voice vibrated through your body.
Calm down!
Starscream continued to screech, ripping you out of your reverie. And the irony that Starscream, screaming louder than you to calm your nerves, is lost on you in that moment as you stop yelling. You slip into a slight panic again, and you start hyperventilating. And part of you is wondering if you've accidentally initiated a pissing contest with a giant alien with who could scream the loudest.
And Kristen, he's made of piss.
I know he is. Oh, and that is it for Ice Cream, You Scream.
Oh.
Just some fun Starscream reader interaction.
Flying off into space with your big metal boyfriend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely, I edited some of that for content. And I clipped out some parts, just again, because there's a limit to what I will put myself on the internet saying. But that was fun. Joe, is it not the perfect understanding of Starscream that you and him just start yelling at each other? Louder and louder and louder. I feel like this person has a very good idea of Starscream as a character.
I was going to say, that sounds like Starscream's entire relationships with anybody. Yes.
I love it. So that is all for now. Please join me for Chapter 2, which is a different fanfic entirely, a little bit later.
And we can segue seamlessly into some character discussions. Normally we would do things like favorite and least favorite characters here, but given that so many of the characters just weren't explored...
Yeah, I mean, Jim didn't give us much to work with, but yeesh, Transformers.
And also, I think we would have very similar top and bottom threes, so we're just going to
we might as well just talk about characters in general.
Do a little wrap in here. Kristen, let's start with the humans here. So our major human characters are but three: Sparkplug, Spike, and Chip Chase. Now... Anybody who's listened to this podcast for the first 30 minutes knows that Chip Chase is...
a big favorite.
A big favorite here just because he's competent, I think.
I think so, too. I was remembering something I said when we first started the series in regards to the human characters, which I hadn't expected because my brain was dead. I was brain dead. And couldn't remember how the cartoon went. And one of the things that I think I still actually, stay on, though, as much as I like Chip, and Chip is great, I love Chip, I am still impressed with Spike because he has kept his promise to kind of be, around and active, but not super fucking annoying.
That is actually, given that my remembrance of the Transformers series of the early 2000s, the ones that came over from Japan that were, just, dubbed anime, basically... The human characters in those weren't super annoying, but they were definitely bad.
Yeah, if you're watching the robot cartoon, why do I care about what the humans are doing?
Which is also, of course, the problem with most of the Transformers movies as well.
Yeah.
Why do I care what Shia the Beef is doing in this movie? I want to see a mass of metal that I can't tell what's going on. Is that jazz? Oh, he got ripped in half. Oh well.
I guess maybe part of the fun is that the cartoon still makes it so they're up in Transformer business all the time. One might say too much. Whereas they're not really trying to follow their own plot lines, which I think would be a huge mistake.
Well, and if they do have their own plot lines, it's usually integrated with the Transformers, such as Sparkplug and Spike's family drama in the Ultimate Doom.
Exactly. So, I mean, again, since we already have Spike, do I really think that Sparkplug is necessary? Not super really.
It's kind of weird.
I don't, hate him, though.
It's kind of weird because the Transformers being, robots in disguise by nature, it feels like a kid is a good companion for them because of just Dad, I met a transforming car into a robot, and he's just like, fucking eat your porridge, son. Shit like that happening. Or I don't know why these people are eating porridge.
I don't know either. Now, is this are we onto something and this was a weird, our legal team looked and we like the idea of a kid hanging out with the Transformers because kids are our demographic. But they also do. They are also doing
stuff.
Yeah, they're doing war and shit. So I think his dad needs to be there.
I would not be surprised if Sparkplug was there for that reason. He doesn't bring a lot to the... Because I think in other series, too, where there are, adults involved, they're, government agents and things like that. Part of, task forces and shit that can help the Transformers, where Sparkplug is just a guy who worked on an oil rig who does not have a job anymore. Who's collecting unemployment because his oil rig got blown up.
Things are going fine for him. He can spend his time doing whatever he wants to do, and he wants to be a spy for some alien robots.
Why not? Exactly. And they get to go on a bunch of fun adventures to places like Peru and such.
See, so their worlds have all expanded so greatly, thanks to the Transformers, only at the expense of their physical well-being.
And Spike getting his shoulder ripped out of his socket a bunch of times.
Yeah, there you go.
And getting a face full of a giant drift of snow when Bumblebee throws a snowball at him.
It's a fair trade.
Kristen, the Autobots, I feel like many of them do not have a lot of characterization beyond I'm a good guy.
It's not that I dislike most of the Autobots. It's that I have pretty much completely neutral feelings on most of them and dislike a couple of them. And I love Wheeljack.
I mean, we've said a few times that Optimus as the leader, you, I think, are...
He has big Jerica energy with me.
A bit flabbergasted, yes, that Optimus can be so dumb, such an asshole, doing things that don't seem like... You've heard from me, you've watched the Transformers movie, you know that the whole thing of, Optimus dies, everybody's sad about it. And
so many people in the 80s wanted Optimus to be their robot dad, and I don't understand.
Exactly, you don't see what the deal is with Optimus.
Is that because I'm a girl? Like, I don't know.
Maybe, hey, if Optimus Prime was a woman, maybe you'd want to be your robot mom. Who knows?
Maybe if she were Optima Prime.
You've got synergy for that.
Yes, I have my robot mom, and she's better than your robot mom, Dad.
A lot of secondary Autobots seem interchangeable, I think, at least in the episodes that we've watched. Like, there's no difference if you put Brawn in a lot of these situations to if you put Sideswipe in a lot of these situations, it feels like.
Yeah, which is too bad. I guess it just, comes down to the powers, because going in from More Than Meets the Eye, I think I probably would have bet that I would be pretty interested in Mirage, because he did some stuff.
Because he has powers, yes, that
seem pretty useful.
They don't really ever call on him unless it's only to use those powers, and he doesn't have any kind of character building moments other than, hey, Mirage, turn invisible. Okay.
Yeah, they set him up to call himself a pacifist, which you would think is a character trait.
You would think.
Oops, my mistake.
There were other things, too, that just kind of ended up dropped. Hound is supposed to be the guy that is an Earthaboo, I guess. He's fascinated with Earth. He wants to take in all the culture and live there and shit. And then it's just we're going to have Bumblebee be the kid-friend character, and Bumblebee is just a goof most of the time.
Yeah, I don't hate Bumblebee. I'm not super into him. I mean, it's good that Spike has a friend his age, I guess.
You can give character traits to a few of the other ones, like Cliffjumper's headstrong, I guess, which is also pretty much shared by Ironhide, I think.
Damn it! I want to say, can I try? Ironhide is the old guard fight man.
Kinda, yeah. He's got that going on, too.
And Joe, he's red.
He is red, that's true.
In case you forgot.
But yeah, a lot of them just kind of end up being as a generic Justice guy and don't do... I mean, again, Season 2 has fucking 40 episodes in it or something, so I'm sure that there will be time for us to have... I know that there's specifically episodes for little new mini-bots like Beachcomber and Powerglide and shit.
Oh, good, more.
And, Kristen.
Yeah, I know.
There's an entire year of toy line that is coming for the second season, so... when Transformers is just hitting its stride. So basically, Hound, I think, we're basically done with Hound. He doesn't have an episode for him.
Oof.
So...
Oh! That's sad.
I'm pretty sure, anyway. I don't know if Trailbreaker really gets anything. We've seen him use the force field a few times, but what the fuck is Trailbreaker's personality?
I mean, not that anyone asked, but he really likes banana bread.
Kristen, Windcharger has been part of Autobot teams in 3 or 4 separate episodes, and what the fuck is Windcharger's personality?
I still don't even know who he is.
Exactly. And is it just that the sheer number of Autobots, compared to when we get to the Decepticons here, which are very distinct, each of them are pretty much, what's going on with them.
Yes.
Other than maybe Skywarp and Thundercracker.
Weird. Are we coming to the conclusion, slowly, that Wheeljack is the best Autobot?
I think that coming out of Season 1 here, because he has a clear personality of inventor guy who kind of is a fuck-up, too, and is also has a dumb voice and dumb light-up ears.
I am delighted by how much I ended up liking Wheeljack.
I think that he comes out of Season 1 as the best Autobot, yeah.
Oh, and in case you were wondering, I hate Skyfire.
And I mean, we didn't really get a lot out of the Dinobots either. I know that I'm sure on most other days you'd say that Grimlock might be your favorite.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I have no feelings whatsoever about the other Dinobots, but Grimlock's fun. And he looks like Angus, as we realized. Madeline's cat.
That's true.
Madeline's one-eyed, toothless cat.
He's a very similar kind of puffy T-Rex face, I guess.
They look like they go... That's the best way to describe it.
And Kristen, because there are 6 Decepticons, not counting cassettes, I think, or maybe even counting... No. Yeah, not counting cassettes, there are 6 Decepticons. Or, at least in the 1984 toy line, unless we're getting into people like Shockwave, who even then, Shockwave, distinct personality, or at least a very distinct look compared to the other Transformers.
And, he is, again, competent, which is a character trait. Holds the fort down. Super loyal to Megatron.
There you go. That's all you need.
I understand how later they were like, maybe, was it him that gives Starscream a run for his money as second in command, or is that Soundwave?
I think that it's Soundwave. Shockwave, at least in the comics and things like that, he's not really a loyalist to Megatron. He's in service to Logic. He's always like the Logic guy, which goes to just be like, eventually he's just like, I should lead the Decepticons. So
wait a minute.
So he's like a different version of he's a version of Starscream that's, while Starscream's doing it in very self-serving terms, Shockwave is doing it in a way that he thinks it's for the greater good, I guess.
If I could change one thing about the Decepticon dynamic, it would be that every single character is actively trying to become the leader of the Decepticons. All of them. Even Laserbeak.
That would be nice. That would be nice. I feel like, because there is a bit of loyalist to Megatron thing that Soundwave kind of has. Like, Soundwave doesn't... Yeah. Soundwave is very cool looking, potentially the coolest looking Transformer. Potentially.
I don't know if I agree with that, but...
Potentially.
Okay.
And he's got a bunch of cool robot friends with him, but he doesn't do anything other than send out the robot friends. Like Soundwave, if we want to harp on Decepticons for not having a personality, or Autobots for not having a personality, then we can harp on Soundwave for being just like, yeah, cool, Megatron, I got it. I got you.
He is really hindered by that synthesizer voice with no emotion, isn't he?
Man, maybe the Decepticons aren't as like distinct as I thought, because when it boils down to it, it's Megatron, Starscream, and a bunch of people.
And you know what, Joe? I love all of those people, except Megatron.
Megatron's aimless. I don't want to... He's not like Cobra Commander incompetent, at least, but...
I like him more than Optimus.
He's a dumb 80s cartoon villain, and I think that he needs to have those traits, which might make us angry, but at the very least, we can forgive someone like Pizzazz, because...
See, I was going to say, considering Pizzazz got me so good in my shriveled black heart with how much I loved that horrible rich bitch, Megatron should kind of work better for me. But then, like, Starscream's taken all of that motivation that makes the villain character interesting.
I feel like because Gem and the Holograms aren't robots with superpowers, we can forgive them for Pizzazz and Eric Raymond and people getting like way too confident for what's going on. We can forgive that because...
Where with Megatron, it's like, shouldn't you have a computer in your brain that like tells you that this is a stupid fucking idea?
Shouldn't you have a contingency plan? Shouldn't you have foreseen something like this, something really obvious like this might have happened, etc.?
I mean, yes, that's a valid suggestion, but Joe, let me see if you've heard this one before. Damn plan.
Stop me if you've heard this one before. So there's a dam nearby, and it's generating electricity, apparently, which means we could turn it into Energon.
So, yeah, it really feels like the Decepticon crew, and then also Megatron's there somewhere. I'm really into the other ones, even though Skywarp and Thundercracker aren't much.
At the very least, Rumble has a bit of a personality of just being a dumbass.
I love him. And Ravage is very talented.
Ravage is a kitty, so it does kitty things.
And Laserbeak takes a lot of lumps for the Decepticons. He's getting, like, fly swatted out of the air constantly.
Shot out of the sky on a near constant basis, yes.
Yeah, it's rough. See, maybe it's more like if Soundwave had more ambition, like Laserbeak's his VP, Ravage is Secretary of State. What's Rumble? Rumble's the First Lady.
Treasurer. I do know that one of Soundwave's other cassettes that I don't know if we see until season 3, potentially, in the comic was a senator on Cybertron, so...
Booyah! I love it.
So I think we can agree that Starscream's the best Decepticon. I don't want to say that any of the Decepticons are bad, necessarily.
No, I don't think so either.
So that's the thing.
Oh, wait, let me actually go back and, when Skyfire was briefly a Decepticon, he was the worst Decepticon.
Okay, yeah. So Skyfire has the dishonor of being both the worst Autobot and the worst Decepticon.
I hate that guy. Kristen,
we are going to move on now to our episode roulette, as I have dubbed it here. So in our Kim, Jim, Sting Tacubers, we had a song...
This is going to take some explaining.
We had a table of potential themes for a song to be written by the Holograms, the Misfits, and I think we just decided not to do the Stingers in season 3.
I didn't want to do the Stingers.
And we wrote an episode around that, too, even though we didn't really need to. So now we are just going to remove the song part of that, and Kristen, you have 15 potential topics for us to write episodes about. And if you don't mind, I would like to hear because I have not heard them yet, and I would be very interested.
And here's the other thing. In my new version of this game, we roll twice, baby.
So like something for the Autobots and the Decepticons to do? Like, how does this work?
So we're going to have a lot of artistic license. The first roll is going to be for the topic, and then I will get to the second roll as a separate part once I have read all of those.
Okay.
So, number 1, vampires, but for robots.
Robot vampires.
2, a low-stakes American holiday. We've had that one before.
Yes, true.
3, Starscream's newest betrayal.
Okay.
4, Bumblebee gets hit in his face and needs his teeth checked out by a dentist.
Works, okay.
And then here's an old classic 5, an unlikely Autobot-Decepticon friendship, all of the bands break up.
Oh, okay.
6, the concept of endangered animals taught to kids while avoiding the topic of death.
I think that was a song one, too.
It was close to that, yeah. 7, settle what state we're in once and for all by visiting an American landmark.
Okay, good.
8, a character of your choice loses all their money playing rigged games at a scummy local carnival. What happens next?
Okay, all right, I like it.
9, team up. A greater threat has come to Earth. What now? Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Ooh. Great.
10, an Autobot is mistakenly taken to a car show and doesn't know how to ask to leave.
I like that.
11, for the hell of it, a coal mine again.
Hey, coal mine. My favorite.
We love coal mines.
It's like a dam plan, but it's underground.
I know. 12, Indiana Jones crossover episode.
Work with the many Choose Your Own Adventure books that we have. Find Your Fate books, excuse me. Copyright Choose
Get it
Your
right,
Own
Joe.
Adventure.
13, Megatron and Cobra Commander hang out and shoot the shit.
All right, cool. Good.
I hope I don't get that one. 14, quick, we need an episode about how unions are actually bad. All these hard hat workers are definitely going to sue us.
Okay.
And 15, damn plans are over. What's the hot new plan?
Oh, fuck. I hope I get that one.
Okay, so that's the first roll, so that's going to be generally what we use to write our little section of episode. This is what the whole episode is. And then, yes, for the second part is where I have the second roll here. Sorry, I should have cleared this with you beforehand.
It's fine.
So basically, that is the overarching plot of the episode, which we will summarize briefly, not briefly, who can say. And then we will write part of the script with our second roll. And there are 4 categories for this, Joe.
Okay.
You will either write 1, the scene that introduces the plot line.
Okay.
2, the big fat cliffhanger.
Good. Fun.
3, the way the episode awkwardly ends.
Good. Love it.
And 4, roll again and include the Dinobots.
I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, so, Kristen, I've got my random number generator here, 1 through 15. And for your roll here, I will be generating 3, which I believe is...
Starscream's newest betrayal! Yeah! Yeah! Starscream! I'm opening my text doc already. I'm already writing, Joe. You can't stop me.
Wonderful. And for mine, I get 15, which is...
Damn plans are over. What's the new hot plan?
Oh, fuck!
Hell yeah.
I wanted that one. Hell yeah.
Very good. Very good.
All right, let me... 1 through 4 here. So, Kristen, you got 2. So, the big fat cliffhanger?
I got cliffhanger.
Okay. And for me, 3, which is the way the episode ends, I believe.
Yes.
Okay, so Kristen, then to reiterate here, you're going to be writing the big fat cliffhanger for Starscream's latest betrayal, and I'll be writing the end of the episode with the new hotness that is not a damn plan.
Yes. I think we got some good content here.
So Kristen, as we are writing our episodes here, we will have a little interlude back into fanfic theater.
Live in person, Kristen needs to go write her beautiful script. Me, classy alternate universe Kristen, will continue reading to you.
Please do.
Our second excerpt of the day is from Transformers, X Reader, parentheses, slow updates. Hey Joe, quick question.
Yes.
What is TFP?
Transformers Prime, probably?
Okay, that must be it. This is Transformers Prime Starscream.
Ooh, this is the
Ex
Starscream
Human Reader.
voiced by Steve Bloom, I believe.
Is this the one with the heels?
Yes.
Nice. I'm sorry. Back to being professional. It was really quite simple how you ended up the hostage/friend of Starscream. You wandered too close to the Harbinger by accident. I mean, it wasn't like you were purposefully looking for a giant alien spaceship. Starscream picked you up, and after a long interrogation to ensure you weren't an Autobot spy or pet, Starscream thought the best course of action would be to keep you under his watch. Watch being the subjective word there. The Harbinger being too far in the desert for you to actively get anywhere on your own 2 feet, considering Starscream pretty much blew up your only other mode of transportation, other than riding in/on the Seeker himself. This is, I think, one sentence. And you doubted Starscream would be thrilled about flying anywhere. Although, you would have killed to ride in a jet. Another prod to your side left you wincing. Ugh, fine, your majesty. I'll take time from my schedule to pamper your every need, you snapped. Your words were dripping with sarcasm that didn't seem to penetrate Starscream's helm.
What a dumbass.
The Seeker actually seemed to perk up. Well, that's not exactly what I had in mind, but... You stared at the Seeker open-mouthed. What an egotistical glitch. Staring in... again. Staring in awe of my sleek, agile, and masterfully crafted frame, Starscream asked with a smirk. What is wrong with you? You asked, staring at Starscream. Starscream's facial features fell somewhat, and you felt just the slightest bit guilty. Well, I mean, you're not bad to look at, you choke out. Well, you could sound a little more enthusiastic. Not like you're trying to choke down a cube of bad energon, Starscream grumbled. But his wingtips flared up at your praise.
Call me sexy.
I'm hot. I'm sexy and I know it. Oh, this was by Saberback, by the way. That's it for that one.
Yay.
Yay. Fun.
Well, now that we are back from fanfiction theater, Kristen, I was given, as everybody knows, because I just said it probably like a minute ago on
whatever
the thing here.
For everyone.
It is... Damn plans are out. What's the new hotness plan? And specifically writing the end of the episode, I have written an episode called Winds of Change, written by Douglas Booth.
I just remembered I forgot a title, so...
So my synopsis is this, Kristen. The Autobots are brought to one of the sprawling mountainscapes of Utah, where Spike shows off new wind energy harnessing turbines that are being built by Sparkplug and the rest of the Hard Hat Men. Laserbeak is nearby, transmitting the entire conversation to Megatron, who thinks a change is in order. It was so obvious, Kristen! Harnessing the oxygen these flesh creatures breathe to turn into energy itself! Of course!
Obviously, there's so much of it.
The Constructicons are sent out to this wind farm here, attacking and stealing a lot of the turbines, like most of them. The Autobots arrive to try to defeat them, but get into a scuffle here that results in the Constructicons turning into Devastator and using one of the generators to basically make wind himself and blow them all off the mountain.
Perfect.
Spreading them out here to end segment 1. Segment 2 has the Autobots trying to regroup. Spike and Bumblebee, of course, ended up together, and they find a small Utah town where they are told the virtues of wind energy and how it works, so we could be a little educational for the children's.
Love it.
The rest of the Autobots look desperately for the base that Megatron has to try and stop him from using whatever he's going to use these devices for. So, Kristen, once the Constructicons bring the turbines back, Megatron realizes that he misunderstood how they work, because he was just like, wait a minute. No, wait, the wind actually doesn't create the energy. The wind turns this is a dam plan. This is a dam plan in the air.
Yeah.
So he enlists the help of Starscream to do something with these things, and Starscream makes sweet jetpacks for everybody. In addition to, we as the viewers see that he puts a little fail-safe, a little something not quite kosher with Megatron's jetpack. And this is, yes, of course, Kristen, the Decepticons can fly, but now they have jetpacks.
I like it a little bit better. Also, you're encroaching upon my territory here.
Uh-oh.
Get out of here, Joe.
So the Autobots arrive at this point, Kristen, and they are easily trounced by the flying Decepticons, who have air superiority even more now here. And
Jets with wings on wings!
Jets with wings on wings here, and Megatron says, fuck it! They go over to the closest Utah dam they can find to end segment 2.
Might as well. Back to Old Faithful.
Segment 3 begins with all of the Autobots meeting up again here to formulate a plan. Sparkplug and Wheeljack put their heads together to reverse engineer Starscream's jetpack and make jetpacks for all of the Autobots with the remaining turbines that they have available.
Again, just stealing shit from humans.
What follows is, through most of segment 3, a big jetpack battle over a dam, which is where my scene starts here, Kristen. Exterior, above a dam. There are various flying specks meant to represent Autobots and Decepticons in mid-air combat. Megatron is trying to pin down Optimus Prime with heavy gunfire. We cut to Starscream, watching from ground level, a smirk crawling across his face as he presses a button that sends Megatron spiraling. To his surprise, Megatron's dive bombing is actually, heading directly for him instead. So he tries to outrun the falling leader here, and of course he overcorrects, and Megatron's still heading directly for him, to which Starscream goes, "No! Decepticons! Help! Retreat!"
I'm taking my toys and going home!
So the Order sends all of the Decepticons, who are not doing very well themselves, scurrying off. Megatron manages to get control of his jetpack just in time to grab Starscream off of the ground, carrying him from the battlefield. "Starscream, you ionized imbecile! Who said you could order our retreat? I had Optimus Prime right where I wanted him! We would have been victorious if not for your reckless flying, mighty Megatron!" The two struggle as the Decepticons all fly away, the Autobots watching the retreat as they land. "I guess we showed those Decepti-jerks today, didn't we, Optimus?" says Spike. "That we did, my friend. But I can tell whichever way the wind blows, the Decepticons will be the ones causing trouble." "Well, maybe if I get in on the action, I could blow wind right back in their face!" As Spike picks up one of the broken jetpack pieces, miming flying around. All of the Autobots laugh as we pull back and fade to black.
It sounds like he was threatening to fart on them.
Exactly, Kristen.
Yeah! Man, it is a good thing you went first, Joe.
Yours is that much more insane,
It's
Kristen.
so fucking stupid. We work within a limited amount of time. This is as much improv as it is anything else, short form. So my topic was Starscream's newest betrayal, which gave me a lot to work with.
A lot, yeah.
And then unfortunately I went with the very first idea I had, which was a crossover.
Ooh! Oh no, wait a minute.
The scene that I wrote for the end is the big cliffhanger of the episode. So, get ready for this shit. My episode is called A Starscream is Born.
Oh boy.
Starscream catches Lindsay's show and is absolutely enraged when he sees the Stingers doing an interview. He thinks Riot is a poser and leaves the Decepticons to try and become the Stingers' new frontman because obviously he's the best. All of the other Decepticons think this is so funny that they sarcastically tell him to go do it. He flies to LA, picks Riot up, and then takes him to Cybertron to strand him there because he's not sure what else to do. Turns out Shockwave is super on board with this idea and is a rabid Stingers fan. On the journey, they end up bonding, and Starscream has second thoughts about 1, killing Riot, 2, parting with his new friend. After some dramatic consideration, he turns around at the last minute and returns to Earth. The episode ends with the Stingers offering Starscream a feature on their next single and music video. Somehow, they don't expect that his singing is as bad as his speaking voice. The Decepticons crowd around their ocean computer to watch the video debut, everyone shocked by the turn of events. Starscream's voice ends up being dubbed into the song by an unknown. He doesn't notice. We cut back to Shockwave, also watching the video on Cybertron. He looks dejected, but in a funny way. The end.
I enjoy just the phrase ocean computer.
I was like, well, they don't have a computer, so it's the computer that they have in their ocean-based ocean computer.
Of course.
So here is my nice cliffhanger of when Starscream is trying to figure out whether or not he wants to abandon Riot to his fate on Cybertron. Starscream approaches Cybertron with Riot in his cockpit. Things are understandably tense. You can tell that Starscream is ruminating on the trip from Earth and the good times they shared. Stopping on Mars to sightsee, singing 99 bottles of oil on the wall, their brief but intense fight over Riot getting bugle crumbs in Starscream's interior.
Bugles.
Yeah. It was an emotional past few minutes, hours, days? Who can say? Riot. So my new roommate's going to be someone called Shockwave? I hope he's tidier than Minx and Rapture. Starscream. Well, assuming a flesh creature like you can even survive in our atmosphere. I was also going to be perfectly fine if you died once we got there. He said that, but he wasn't sure if he still meant it. Starscream. But apparently Shockwave's a big human rock music fan, so you should get along fine. He's made it very clear that I cannot go back on this deal. Riot. I understand. Contracts are rough, huh? I've been there. Starscream is about to ask what kind of human slavery contracts Riot has experience with when his optic sensor spots something. It's Shockwave, wearing a Stinger's t-shirt and holding a banner with Riot's face on it. The sight disgusts him. Starscream's thoughts. Am I really going to do this? Will I leave my new best friend Riot with that nerd Shockwave? Riot cries a single sexy tear as he experiences the same down. And that's the cliffhanger.
This is a very involved episode with specifically just Starscream.
Yeah, so that's what I meant when I was saying I basically was like, oh man, I have so much to work with here. Well, okay, maybe Starscream strikes out on his own to do something. What's like a human job he would want on Earth that he feels like he's better suited for than other people? And then somehow it turned into he would want to replace Riot. Because Riot's the perfect man, and obviously Starscream's the perfect Starscream. And it's very important to note, we didn't get to it in the just episode description, but when we cut back to Shockwave watching the debut of the new Stinger's single on Cybertron, he is still wearing his t-shirt and holding his banner.
Is Shockwave in a giant fucking t-shirt?
Yes, a very big t-shirt that does not fit very well over his robot frame.
Over his big fucking window boob.
It's all bunched up, there's like a tear in the sleeve.
Goddamn, what an episode.
That's not where I expected to go with that, but it sure was fun.
And Kristen, here we have, as we're winding down, the top 3 moments of the season here, because, again, we can't really quantify our goods and bads. Seem like they would be pretty similar. There aren't songs, so we can't do top songs.
We're just going to episodes again, but being a little bit more specific.
Gotta do top moments here. My number 3, Kristen, which we actually discussed a little bit already, Chip being smart enough to use Teletran when the other Autobots didn't. Twice!
I mean, they brought this alien technology to Earth. That's awesome. They don't seem to know how to use it.
Even though it's their technology.
Yep, doesn't even occur to them. They're like dumb old people.
Old guy's got a new cell phone.
Yep, how do I connect this to the internet? My thing's broken.
Where's the cord to connect it to the internet? No, Pops, it's always connected to the internet.
There's no wires. How's it connected if there's no wires?
Oh, Pops, you don't understand.
And that's just Chip talking directly to Optimus.
Krista, what was your number 3 moment of the season?
My number 3 catch-all moment is all of the intensely animated hardcore Ravage action. Should I say that again, or is that funny?
The Rumble action is pretty good, too, I gotta say.
The Rumble is pretty good. The Rumble dunking I'm a big fan of. Just how when he's not around, people just make fun of Rumble.
And how his eyes push out of his face like Bender when he zooms in.
That's pretty good, too.
I agree, though. The Ravage action, Ravage got to do a lot, and he didn't get shot out of the sky like Laserbeak every time.
Yeah, he did, get caught in his share of nets and piled under rubble.
Soundwave got sexually harassed by a Transformer pushing on his boob window to prevent Ravage from being ejected.
It's not okay. He was in the middle of all that, and it's gross. Also, he did get pet, though. So, his life really all that bad.
My number 2, Kristen, is the flashback that played on Skyfire's head while Starscream narrated.
That was pretty good, too. I wish and don't wish, both of them, that we got more instances of there's just a screen right there. There's one.
On the forehead.
Who cares?
Just a Transformer lifts up a flap on their helmet to show a CRT.
Yeah.
That is currently showing what they're thinking about, I guess.
At this point, why not just put a disc right in one of their mouths? And he starts playing a DVD. Because DVDs didn't exist yet.
What is your number 2, Kristen?
My number 2 favorite thing from this season is, where the hell does this show take place? Because you sounded pretty sure about Washington for a bit there, and I don't think you are anymore.
I mean, I think that Utah is a funnier word, so that's what I'm going with.
Yep. It's just fun to imagine that on the fringes of all the fun robot stuff going on is just Salt Lake City, and all the Mormons are like, what the fuck is happening?
Much like how I always enjoy using Davenport, Iowa as an example. It just seems like a funny place.
Yeah, it works. I hope they never get specific with it, but I will pay attention just in case they do.
I feel like we would have known if they got specific, because again, we looked on the Transformers wiki and the best we got was, I think, American Southwest.
I can't remember, dude.
My number one moment of the season, Kristen, is Braun going, "I'll get the door," and then running directly through the wall.
That is a pretty good one. Again, mine's a little bit more broad, but similarly joyful in spirit, and it's just Megatron's laugh. That, I think, is the biggest victory I've taken away from season 1 of this podcast.
It's stuck around the longest, and I'm sure as long as Megatron exists, which will be a long time.
Yeah.
And even when he becomes Galvatron, he's still absolutely insane, so...
I love it. I'm just looking forward to more Starscream in the near future, though.
So, Kristen, then, we've only got one thing left to do other than our third trip into fanfiction theater. Mm-hmm. So, if you don't mind, as normal Kristen needs to go warm up for the main event here, alternate universe Kristen can
Fancy
read
Kristen.
us our... Fancy Kristen, yes, thank you. The fancy universe.
I imagine there's some kind of light, fancy music playing. We'll see. Maybe there's not, and I'm just an asshole. Our last fanfiction of the episode is from Wattpad. It is by Transformer Lover 19. I assume They were born in 2019. And the fic is called My Human, parentheses, Starscream X Reader. Starscream POV. It's been at least 2 horrible weeks after watching a puny fleshing that Megatron insisted we had a human on our side too to even out the odds. Can you believe this, Lord Megatron put me under the watch of a human? I mean, why me and not Soundwave or Knockout or Steve? No, not Steve. Anyway, why me? I went to go try to change Lord Megatron's mind. This one's not as well written as the other ones.
So, wait, can you go back over to those example Decepticons that he gave that ended in Steve?
Yes, Soundwave, sure. Knockout,
Soundwave,
or Steve.
Knockout, member of the Stunticons, I believe.
That's an interesting poll.
Not even like the main Stunticon either.
Now we know who this person's real favorite is. Lord Megatron, please reconsider. I can't look after a human. Megatron, look at me, with hatred burning in his optics. Starscream, why can't you just watch over the human? It's a simple task, really, said Megatron, with his arms crossed behind his back.
I gotta say, I love that you just power through the sentences when there's not punctuation.
That's the only appropriate way to do it. My lord, please, I begged, but saw there was no point, so I gave up and walked to my quarters, only to stumble upon the human I was supposed to be watching. Hey, Screamer, what's up? Said the human girl. Hello, fleshing, I replied. I think they might mean fleshling?
I'm assuming fleshling, yes.
But they've written it more than once as fleshing. I have a name, you know, she said, glaring at the seeker. Well, whatever your name is, I don't care. As I walked past her over to my desk.
You got a big desk.
Very big desk. It's, parentheses, YN. You know what that means, right, Joe?
Your name.
Your name.
Great anime movie up for an Oscar, probably. Your name.
Your name. It's Kristen, for your information, and I'd rather be called that than fleshing, said Kristen, crossing her arms over her chest. Fine, whatever, Kristen. But you better listen to me, I replied with fiercely. And that's it.
With fiercely.
Yeah.
Again, we're not making fun of him.
It's fun.
It sounds silly.
It's very
silly.
fun.
Yes.
Maybe English is not this person's first language. I don't know. It's fun to read out loud.
Yes.
Do you want to know how many views this has, Joe?
Ooh, 200,000.
14,400.
All right. I eyeballed it a bit.
Just a little bit. But 153 favorites, 68 comments.
This could very well be as well the Transformers Prime Starscream. Knockout is not a Decepticon I'm familiar with, so I don't know.
I have no idea. This is more popular than anything I've ever written in my entire life.
I might be mistaking Knockout with I'm gonna look at the Stunticons.
Wow. See, this fanfiction did its job, Joe. It's got you thinking.
I got Knockout mixed up with Dead End, I think.
What about Steve? Is there any information on the Transformers wiki about Steve?
Well, let's go ahead. Steve. Oh, that's Steve.
Decepticon Steve.
He's not German. Steve Viacon, one of Megatron's army of faceless Viacons. Apparently from the IDW Robots in Disguise comic.
This person's a genius.
Who the fuck is Knockout? I had a Transformer named Knockout, but I think he was from the second movie and he was really small.
Are there any toys of Steve out there?
Yeah, Transformers Prime, Knockout. Yep. Seems really random because it doesn't seem like he was in the show, so.
Upon reading this, part of me does wonder if maybe it's a joke. But that's also a mean thing to think if it's serious, so who knows?
Oh no, Kristen, are you calling this fic My Immortal?
Well, let's be real, Joe. People were idiots to ever think My Immortal was real.
It's true. That's true.
There's a lot of stuff that I look at on the internet now that people treat as though it's real, and I can tell immediately it isn't. So, I think I just have a little bit of a higher threshold for bullshit as a seasoned fanfiction writer. But then again, what do I know? This person is way more popular than I'll ever be.
Exactly. You gotta start writing Starscream/Reader fanfiction, of
Joe,
course.
I have already tried writing BTS Reader fanfiction just to see if I could get more hits, and it didn't work.
Then you gotta self-promote better, I guess.
I guess so. Madeline helped me with it, and it didn't go very well at all. It's very disappointed. All my friends thought this game it was gonna work.
Kristen, we are wasting time at this point because
But don't we want to talk about fanfiction more?
It is now time for the main event, Kristen names all the Transformers.
Okay, what is the best way to do this?
I have written down here, again, my criteria that I provided to you off podcast, so I shouldn't say again as if I said it out already.
What's my criteria, Joe?
It is all 1984 Autobots and Decepticons are written down in front of me here that have appeared in the show as well. So I have them in front of me here. Those are the ones that I keep wanting to say Pokemon. Those are the Pokemon that you're going to be naming.
Oh god, do I have to name all 150 Pokemon?
To get the points here, man, Kristen, you know we've all done that Sporkle quiz like 5 times.
And also it's 151, I know.
At least 150 or more to see. So those are who you will be naming, and if you name any of the 1985 Autobots or Decepticons, I'll mark that down, but you're not getting any points for them.
Fine, whatever. I feel like the best way to do this is to start with the Decepticons since I know them best.
Okay, and I will put an X or a check or something next to the ones that you name. So whenever you're ready, please go ahead.
Megatron, who is a gun and the leader of the Decepticons.
Very good.
Starscream, who is my boyfriend.
I'm going to need a little more on what he is.
He's a jet, Joe.
Thank you. What color is he?
Gray. Red.
Very good. I'll take that.
I think Thundercracker is blue and red.
Yes.
And Skywarp is purple. Purple-gray.
And black, yeah.
Sure, whatever. And Soundwave, who is a cassette player with glasses.
A microcassette player.
Whatever. Oh no, I'm gonna get confused with the actual cassette player Transformer. Ravage. Laserbeak.
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes.
Frenzy.
Yes. Those are all the Decepticons from the 1984 toy line.
And Shockwave.
Who is part of the 1985 toy line.
And who has a snoot. Or does he not have a snoot? I can't remember.
No, he's got a single eye.
One eye. I keep thinking the eye is a snoot for some reason. And one time, he was a gun.
That's true. He is a...
So give me a point for that.
He is an actual-sized laser gun instead of a human-sized normal gun or Transformer-sized gun like Megatron, who can change his shape when he transforms.
It's fine. Whatever. Okay. I'm tempted to go with the Insecticons next.
The Insecticons are part of the 1985 toy line.
They don't count?
They do not count.
No! Shrapnel.
Yes.
Kickback.
Yes.
And the other one's not blowback. I keep getting this one confused. What is it? Bombshell.
Bombshell, yes.
Yes. I'm not even gonna bother with the Constructicons then. Fuck you.
That's
I don't know them anyway.
That's okay.
Dinobots.
They are part of the 1985 toy line.
Whatever. Grimlock.
Yes.
Slag.
Correct. What does Slag transform into?
A Triceratops?
Yes.
What the hell was the other one? It's not Slug, because that's just slag.
Yes, correct.
Mud. No.
You're in the right realm.
Dirt.
Kind of close. You make it a little more watery than mud.
Swamp.
Not quite swamp, but what might you find in a swamp, potentially?
An alligator.
Kristen, that's Beast Wars Megatron, as we all
Oh,
know.
yeah, I'm sorry. I'm getting them all confused. I know Swoop is the pterodon, so let's just skip over that for now. Sludge!
Yes.
Sludge.
Do you see how I was guiding you towards Sludge?
Yes. And who's the other dude? Swoop and Sparkle. Nope. Swoop. Swoop and
It's a thing when you do something like that.
Snarl.
There you go.
What the hell is he?
What the hell is he, Kristen?
Another Triceratops.
Also, what's Sludge? We didn't determine that.
A Brontosaurus?
Yes.
That was a guess. Man. Good job, me. I have no idea.
And Snarl is another very popular...
A cat.
Dinosaur type.
A Stegosaurus.
Yes.
Yes! Give me points, Joe!
I'm not giving you points for the 1985 ones, I told you.
God damn it! Okay, I think I just need to do the Autobots now, don't I?
Yes.
Okay. Optimus Prime is a semi-truck.
Correct.
And a buzzkill.
Also correct.
Bumblebee in a little car, and he's yellow and loves teeth.
Correct.
Ironhide is red.
He is red, yes.
Jazz has sunglasses.
Do you know what Ironhide or Jazz...
Cars.
Since a lot of... yeah.
Most of them are cars.
Since a lot of these are cars, I will not be pedantic. Ironhide is not a car.
A truck, then. Like a tow truck.
No.
I really don't know.
He's a van. Fuck it.
That's a car!
I'm just saying.
Okay. Don't throw me off my groove here.
I'm sorry.
I'm on a roll.
I
Clearly.
threw off the Emperor's groove.
Yeah, don't. Stop it. Jazz was the last one I did. Prowl is the ambulance? No.
No.
Ratchet's the ambulance.
Yes.
Prowl is the police car.
Correct.
Hound is the Jeep.
Yes.
Sunstreaker is a car.
Uh-huh.
Blue Streak is a car.
Oh my god, you got Blue Streak.
Yeah.
I was 100% sure you were not going to get Blue Streak.
Nope, after it evaded me last time, I realized I didn't make that one up. It's actually real. Sideswipe is a car.
Correct.
Did I say Sunstreaker already?
Yes, you did.
Gears is a
Yeah,
car.
Gears is a pickup truck with a thing over it, I
Yeah,
think.
sure. Oh no.
But he's really tiny, so the proportions are weird.
Yeah. I'm starting to run out. Skyfire.
It's part of the 1985 toy line.
Whatever. Windcharger.
Oh, okay, yeah. Who is also a car.
Mirage.
Uh-huh. He's a special type of car.
A cool one.
Ooh, well, I mean,
A pacifist car.
he's a Formula One car.
Trailbreaker.
Trailbreaker.
Cliff jumper. Are
Cliff
cars.
jumper. Yeah, well, alright, so we got, let's see, 1, 2, 3 left.
3 left. Oh
3
no.
left.
I knew I should have categorized them somehow in my head.
1 is really obvious.
Blur. RC.
Those are from the movie.
I know. I just like bragging that I know them. A really obvious one.
A really obvious one that you have not mentioned yet.
My boyfriend Wheeljack.
There you go.
Yes. How many do I have left?
2.
Oh no. Are they cars?
They are a Jeep and a semi-cab, respectively.
What? I don't even know what that is. Is one of
Like
them...
like the front part of a semi.
One of them must be the other color that Hound is.
No, there's not. Hound was not recolored into another toy.
They just had 2 different Jeeps?
Into different size classes.
A small Jeep.
A small Jeep. Just like they had a small semi-cab.
I don't know what a semi-cab is!
The fucking front part of the 18-wheeler, Kristen!
Whatever. Roller.
Roller is a thing that lives in Optimus's trailer.
Galvatron.
From the movie.
Speed Racer.
Do you give?
You were giving me hints for the other ones!
Hey, I gave you hints.
Now I'm actually stuck. I feel like I'm missing one of the one-word names.
They are both one-word names.
God! Pounce.
Well, Pounce is a Transformer, but not...
Nice! I mean, yeah, of course it is.
Yeah.
Gears. Brawn.
Brawn is 1. Last one I don't think you're going to get.
Is there any reason why you think I won't get it?
So, Kristen, this last Transformer was in heavy metal war as he volunteered to haul Optimus's trailer after he was damaged in battle. He's orange.
That doesn't help. Just one word. I know I have heard all of these at some point. Come on, Kristen.
His robot is mostly purple.
That does not make a difference.
I'm just saying. I'm offering hints.
Going for vocab words here, and I'm not cheating. It sounded probably suspicious that I said that, but I'm not.
His name is Weird, I will give you that.
Oh, his name is Weird. Who's on first?
Third base.
So wait, by weird you mean it's not a real word?
No, it's a real word. It's just a weird word.
Ravage. Again.
You got one more shot.
Damn it, I was gonna say Ultra Magnus.
You pass no matter what, so...
I want to get it, though! Can you keep giving me hints?
I don't know what else to tell.
So I can at least come up with it myself. What does it start with, Joe?
He's an asshole. He kind of cracks jokes. He cracked a joke at Gears.
He's one of the ones that's not funny.
Countdown to Extinction. He's one of the ones that is not funny, correct. He didn't do much, so that's the other thing. I can't remember, like...
A dick who says funny stuff.
Starts with H.
Hound.
Not hound.
Hamper.
Not hamber.
I said hamper.
Not hamper.
Kimber. Have so much fun editing this, Joe.
Almost all of it's staying in. Everybody's gonna have to suffer through you.
Everyone's gonna love me so much. Why can't I think of any words that start with H? Is it like a word-ass word?
It's H and ends ER. So something
Hanger.
Not hanger.
Hover. Huffer.
Huffer.
Huffer!
There you go.
See, I knew it.
You took a while to get there.
I had to hover first.
So there you go, Kristen. You have succeeded my expectations because I was fully sure you were going to just lose, but you did.
Ooh, wait. Is it time for me to show off now? Mixmaster, Long Haul, Bone Crusher.
We fought them all in Transformers Devastation when we were playing.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention. Crapper.
Yes, that's one.
I'm missing two.
Yeah.
Scavenger.
Yes.
Buff Arm.
Last one's the Crane.
Buff Arm.
Buff Arm the Crane.
Long Arm.
Long Arm the Crane. Long Arm's a different Transformer.
Grabby.
Not a Transformer as far as I know.
Grapple is.
Grapple is...
a Transformer.
Indeed, but is a Transformer, but is an Autobot and shows up in Season 2.
This happened last time. Why can't I remember the fucking Crane's name? Give me 5 extra credit points for those other ones.
Kristen, you have a fucking 100 already.
Yeah, I want a higher than 4.0 average, Joe.
You get the Donkey Kong completion of 103%. How about that?
I like it. Stand up from your desk right now and applaud me. That was so easy. Thank you.
Hook, by the way.
Ugh!
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for listening, for trudging through the Gem Season 1 Chiptacuber.
Through my nightmare.
In time, we will be back here. I should actually do the normal outro. Now is the point in the evening when I list off all of the fun contact things where you can find us. You can follow us on the Twitter machine at cwtapod. You can follow me at Octopus, which is AWKTAPUS. And Kristen, after 100 episodes, you've changed your Twitter handle.
I didn't think it through very hard. But yes, my new Twitter name, I'm going to make sure I get it right. It is an underscore. I was going to say it wrong. Yes, so now you can find me on Twitter at Marina Kazam, MARINA_Kazam, KAZAM. You say anything about the goddamn movie, Joe, I'll kill you.
You can find us on the Apple Podcasts, on the SoundCloud, on the Stitcher Radio, on the YouTube. Leave a rating, give a review, do whatever you feel like. You can also drop us a line, cwtapod@gmail.com. You can tell us all about what might be piquing your interest in Season 2 of these dumb robots.
Ooh, you can tell us about your auditory senses being seduced with beautiful appropriation of talking, and whether or not you reply with fiercely.
Next time, Kristen, we will be kicking off Season 2 with the episode that I mentioned previously, Autobot Spike, Autoboy Spike here.
My little auto boy.
Where I think Spike gets an exosuit of some sort so he can actually do something and not have his shoulder get dislocated every time he fires a gun.
I don't agree with it, but I'm ready to watch it.
For the Can We Talk About podcast, my name is Joe.
I'm your name. I mean Kristen.
And join us next time for Not Fanfic Theater.
It'll be back. My report card with 103% is in the mail. Fuck you.